is Marie Cavedo from Waxahachie, Texas. Oh gosh, I came out of the womb playing soccer and running, and I was the first generation of soccer girls and soccer moms. And so my mom was driving me around to soccer, to swimming, to karate, to basketball, to all of the sports I could be in. I wanted to try them all, and but my big love always has been running. I've run pretty much all of my life. I took a year off when I had my daughter, and I took a few months off after some life experiences. And but I started just running really kind of shorter distances compared to what I'm doing now. Always just running a 5K, and I would just go out and run out my front door and run 3 miles, come back home and go to sleep. And when I moved to Waxahachie, I connected with a group, and we started running longer distances, did 10Ks, and then I started having ambitions for marathons and ultra marathons. And when I kind of did everything on that running list, and I transitioned over to triathlon and started with sprints and had some real challenges with the swim, and worked on that. I didn't finish a few races because I was scared of the water, but kept working on it. And then I finally kind of broke through the barrier, confronted my fears, and I was able to get all the way up to an Ironman. So now that's what I'm training for. So my first Ironman was in 2016, and I went into it kind of nervous because, of course, the swim. But I went in that day with a lot of support, a lot of friends, and my family came to see me, and it gave me a reason not to quit in the water. So I went swimming, and when I was done, I celebrated more after the swim than actually finishing the race. So I was so exhilarated once I was out of the water and on my bike. And my happiest moments were in that transition when I was coming out of the swim and onto my bike. That day had a plethora of weather challenges. It started off really foggy in the morning, so foggy that you couldn't see where the final swim destination was, where the finish was. And then the sun came out and it got really hot. Then we had torrential hurricane force winds and storms, and they actually stopped the race for 40 minutes, had us wait. I was standing in ankle deep water, and when they let the race continue, then I kept on running and finished, and it was cold. The storm brought in a cold front, so it truly went from as hot as 90 degrees to as cold as 45 during the race. And I finished, and I was excited to be with all of my friends and my family, and I continued to race half Ironmans and other distances, and I'm getting ready to do another full this year. I struggled, and still struggle a lot with completing things. For the longest, I struggled with completing a marathon. I did my first marathon when I was 26 years old, signed up for it, was undertrained, and I had to be pulled off the course at mile 21 in an ambulance. And I didn't do one again until I was 40 years old. And when I did that, it again broke a barrier that I had in my life, and not just in sports and athletics, but also in my work life and my family life with my child. I had this way of doing something and just quitting it because I could, and actually finishing it was a big thing for me. And I think that that's helped me in setting goals and having a plan, and then completing it, and just knowing the rewarding feeling that comes from doing something that's hard, that challenges you, that sometimes you don't want to do it, but you have to if the end goal is to complete. And so it helped me in all aspects, not just in the physical part of it, but also emotionally, professionally, and in every way that it can affect you. Okay, I started triathlon when I was 36. And I say I started, I signed up for 3 races and did not finish them. And I remember speaking to my father, and he says, "You know why you can't finish those triathlons? It's because you haven't finished your marathon yet." And he was very right. I had to tackle that one thing before I tried something else that was challenging for me. And so I did listen to him, and I went and I signed up for the Marathon New Orleans, completed that, and then went back to triathlon. I knew that the swim was a big fear of mine, and I hired a coach to help me swim. I had a couple of bad experiences when I was younger with near drowning experiences, and having a coach not only just physically show me how to swim, but also to work on the mental part of it, because most of my fear was mental. It was fear of drowning, it was fear of not being able to breathe, it was fear of even my face being in the water. So just working through all of those with him, and he would give me mantras and words to think about, help me distract my thoughts with other more positive thoughts, and it just took a lot of time, just facing the fears, being in the water, spending the time in the pool, in the lakes, in the ponds, knowing that there's snakes and turtles and fish and all sorts of things underneath me, and so it did happen in phases. I tackled the pool swim first, and then I had to go tackle the open water swim. And but once I spent enough time doing the things that I feared, it became natural and second nature to me. Face it. Face your fears. It's what's going to get you to the other side, and you don't know if you don't try. Definitely I worked with some distraction tactics. I always go to worst case scenario. I'm gonna drown, someone's gonna hit me in the face, someone's gonna pull me under by my legs. Yes, all those things do happen. So those were all experiences that I'd had in the water, and so I knew that I could get punched, that someone could grab me by my legs, that someone could just push my head down to swim over me. And when those happened, I had to have a plan B. What am I going to do? How am I going to recover? And I did give myself time and space to recover from those things, because I can't just swim through them. I'm still working on that. And so I just pull myself over to the side, take a few deep breaths, and then I just keep going. And that's just my tactic for getting through a swim. I will start by saying that my physical ambitions, my goals in exercise and in fitness really started growing when I had a personal tragedy in my life. And that personal tragedy not just shut me down in that aspect, but in all of my personal aspects, professionally, with my family, with my friends, and then of course with running and all the other things. I wanted to stay in bed. Some might call it a depression. That's just how I was dealing with it. And having a goal and having a purpose is what got me out of the bed. I didn't have a job at the time. I had to look for a job, and that made me, get out of bed and start doing those things, start putting one foot in front of the other, start getting the newspaper, start looking online, start talking to my friends. And interestingly, everything just started working out once I got back out on the road. I started running with friends and telling them I was looking for a job, and from there the networking started, and I was able to find a job that way really quickly. I was fortunate and blessed with that. And that way it impacted my life greatly because of the connections that I made through exercise and fitness. And then as far as goals go, well, it just taught me to have a plan. And if anyone knows me, they're like, "What's the plan, Marie?" And I don't do anything. I don't do anything without a plan. It did. So doing all of this, it did teach me, and I say this a lot to myself when I'm struggling with something, is that I can do hard things. And sometimes it's the simplest things that give me roadblocks. And I'm like, why is this giving me a roadblock when I know I can do hard things? And so it's given me confidence, it's given me strategy, it's given me goal keeping, and it's really even helped with my relationships, because I'm constantly meeting new people, learning new things, and being introduced to so many things that I've just not been introduced to before, just simply in the connections I make through fitness.